of the Thursday, March 6th Select Board meeting to order. First order is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we go to public comment, we need to reorganize the Select Board.
I'd like to nominate Vern Broski as the chair.
I'll second it.
Nomination for Vern, seconded by Richard for Vern as chair. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next vice chair, right?
Yep.
I nominate Mary Zuza.
A second.
Nominated by Richard for Mary for vice and second by Ben. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Ben, Vern is out from family emergency tonight, and he will be back at the next meeting. So now I'll open it for public comment. Yes, Sue?
I just want to thank the town residents for coming out and vote, and the town employees they did an excellent job on voting, and I want to thank them. Second, I just want to mention that the NBU girls hockey team is in the semifinals tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Please support it. We've had a very good year, and they need all. We want that fun vote tomorrow night. It's at 6 o'clock against Middlebury. It's going to be a very good game.
Yeah.
So I just want to bring it up so people realize it.
Appreciate that.
What day is that again?
Tomorrow night,
Tomorrow
6
night.
o'clock, they play in Middlebury.
And the VPA
Senior
sets those
citizens
prices
time is
and
$10
all.
a person. Yep.
What's that, Wendy?
I said it's $10 for an adult to
Yeah.
get in. That's set by the VPA, not
It's
Highgate.
worth it. It's worth it.
It is certainly worth it.
Yeah.
Don't tell the VP.
Is there any other public comment?
I'll give you a break.
Then we'll go on to Select Board, review and approve minutes of 2:20. I will make the motion to accept the minutes for 2:20 as written.
And I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yep, you were the only two that were there, so that works.
Yeah. Approve the minutes for 2:27.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have the check warrant. Has everyone had a chance to read it?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I get a motion to accept the check warrant?
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Motion by Richard, seconded by Ben. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On the assess fee, no appeal suit pending certification. It's an annual certification. It is, I hereby certify that this date there are not any appeals pending from action of the listers nor suits pending to recover taxes paid under protest relating to April 2024 grand list of Highgate, Vermont. I have a motion to accept the signature of that.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Second by Ben. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that me or Vern?
You can sign it.
Which means in English we don't have any pending lawsuits, and that's good news.
Good job, Sally.
Not me.
Oh,
Spencer.
So
Yes,
next,
that's it.
we're on to board appointments.
Okay, that's a pretty lengthy list. You should have a copy of it.
I do. So first on the list is 1 year for tree warden. Do I say who's gonna do it, or do?
So, we didn't get a letter for that, but traditionally it is appointed to the Public Works Director. He's in the room if he has any comments.
Nick, are you willing to accept that position?
sure.
Okay, so the tree warden position has been appointed to Nick.
You gonna do individual motions or one big one at the end?
How do you wanna do it?
I don't care.
Let's do it all at the end.
Okay.
So animal control officer, we have one interested party, and is Shelby, who's been doing it for the last year, and she's been doing a great job. Northwest Regional Planning, we have Jack.
Pelkey, yeah.
We have Jack Pelkey. Delinquent tax collector, we have Shelley. Road Commissioner, we're gonna change it up a little bit this year. We're gonna nominate two. We're gonna take one from at-large and one select board member. So the two are Richard Flint and Scott Bissett. And I see a Fire Commissioner cross-off. Has that changed?
It was Kyle, so we didn't get any letters for that one.
Okay.
So you don't have anyone to appoint unless one of you wants to do it.
Okay, so
I'll take it.
Ben?
Ben has stepped up to take Fire Commissioner. Development and Review Board, we have Woody Rouse and Mike Rush, correct? Planning Commission, we have Luke, who's been doing it currently. I'm gonna jump over for a minute to rec because we have three for that. Communications and Union District Rep is Robin Klein. The Health Officer and Deputy Health Officer will be open. I'm still currently in that position, but I will resign when someone comes forward to take it. I don't wanna leave the town totally with nobody, so I'll keep it until that time happens. I do have an interested party, but he is out of town right now, so we'll discuss that when it comes. So now we're going back to the rec committee. We have 3 openings and 4 prospects. So I'm gonna read the 4 prospects and then we'll go into some discussion. Alan Jacobs would like to stay on for 2 more years. He is currently on the commission now. Mark Gilbert, also currently on the rec board, would like to stay on it. We have Mike Fontaine, who is also currently on the board. He is present in the room tonight. If you would like to discuss that after, we'll get to him. And our 4th one is Brittany LePlan, who would be totally new to the board. Mike, will give you the opportunity to talk. I know I saw you come in somewhere. There you are.
I don't know what to say.
Nothing, so any recommendations from anybody in the community that they have worked with these people?
In previous years, Mary, when you asked to do more or less an interview when there's a position, when there's something like this.
Well, that's what we had thought, but we heard there's a meeting Monday, so we have to make a decision. That was our plan until we heard they had a meeting Monday. Unless we want
I
to
think in the
meet.
past, you have tabled it and attended that meeting.
Yeah.
That has happened.
Okay. I would be willing to attend that meeting to do just that so I can get more information. And if any other board would like to attend with me, that would be great.
I will.
Monday, what time?
Monday 5:30
Earlier,
here.
right, Mike? 5:30.
Here, right?
Here.
So we can plan on that. That way we can get a better feel for it. So
I can be here for that.
we're still looking for a Memorial Day committee and a Parks committee. We want to kind of rein them in a little bit. From my understanding, on the Memorial Day, we want to have it more focused and not have so many people. So I think we'll discuss that at a later point. So I guess at this time I need a motion to accept the names that we have stated currently, not the rec commission, because we're going to vote on that later.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation annual summary. Tim is unable to attend and is rescheduled for 4/17, so we're going to table that item.
Correct.
Northern Border Regional Commission grant application. We needed to apply for $1 million to support the village wastewater project. We need to make a motion to approve this resolution supporting the $1 million grant and having the select board chair sign. Need a motion on that?
What project was it for?
This is for Northern Border Regional Commission, NBRC. It's a grant request to supplement the funding for the village wastewater project. Well, I mean, largely because some of the earmarks and congressionally directed spendings have been put on pause, and we had counted on over $1 million of that money to support this project.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion made by Ben to accept. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Richard. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And Village Core, we just wanted to go over because we have heard some conversation about that. We just wanted to reiterate that the Village Core was dissolved because basically you put yourself out of a job. You did such a good job getting everything organized, and basically what we have left on that is the library committee. So we dissolved that committee and came in with a more focused committee, which is called the Library Steering Committee. You will hear more on that later. But that wasn't because anybody did anything wrong. It was because we just felt that we weren't getting everything completed in a timely manner that we needed, and we needed to focus on what we need to go forward on. So also what we need to do is requesting a zoning permit by the town administrator request to sign the DRB boundary line adjustment. So we need a motion to allow the town administrator, Carrie, acting town administrator, to sign on behalf of the town. Do I have a motion to accept that?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ben. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Richard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
So I'll just explain for those that
Okay.
aren't watching all of our stuff. The boundary line adjustment is really minor, but it's meant to accommodate the revised Cathedral Square project. It's just slightly different on that side towards Postville. So it could be on this, but that's all it is. And I have a map. The maps are actually in your
Okay.
packet.
So-
if anyone has questions.
So that boundary line, now, is it all on the Macy property, or is it on some of the town, the other part,
It's not on the Macy side, it's property, it's on the other side of the property. So the side in the back corner near the backyard of the hospital.
It was
in
Nato
Nato,
property.
where we got from the school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it was also more or less required because of the hazard mitigation, the soil remediation we've been doing too. Then the people from the state wanted us to do that boundary line adjustment to give it its own parcel ID number. Maybe more information than you wanted, but it was highly recommended that we do this. And I don't have anything else under select board to add.
Town treasurer Shelley.
You already got the check warrant in front of you. I can give you a real quick delinquent balance update, $119,477.29. And actually, I've had a couple of big payments came in today, so it's even lower than that after the end of business today. Other than that, we've been too busy to do much else for you. Please look at the vote.
Thank you. Town clerk Wendy.
Mary, I have a question.
Yes.
For appointments, you got a lot of letters. Is there any positions open or that there was no interest in still?
Regional planning is one that sticks out.
Yes.
Northwest Regional Planning, that's a once-a-month meeting. And it's kind of critical because the person who was taking that other seat was also on the Transportation Advisory Committee, the TAC, which is important. It doesn't sound important, but it's important because they're the ones who decide what bridges and other structures in the county get funding. So it's kind of nice to have a rep who goes to these meetings, who understands what's being discussed, and can advocate for your town. Squeaky wheel kind of thing. And both of those are only once a month. So anybody with interest, please let us know.
NRPC and TAC, with that one planning commission seat that remains open. It was vacated by Robin Klein, who switched over to the DRB, and we have not been able to fill her position. And I was thinking when we put 9 people from Village Core on hiatus that we'd get some interest, but that has not happened. So, planning commission, NRPC, Ty, the Northwest Rail Trail Council, I think I sent you info on this. You currently serve at that, I think.
I get the emails still, yeah.
So, I didn't hear from you about the letter, so I didn't know if you were interested or not.
Okay, yeah, I was waiting to see if anybody else was interested, but I'll submit it to the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. That's really it that's left open as far as this list, and then we still have to talk about parks and Memorial Day as we inch closer to the spring, because that got a little rogue.
Well, that's what I said, we want to rein it in a little bit and not have a little more focus.
I think we're gonna go with so many members.
We're gonna do like everything else, 5-member board. That's our recommendation. That way it doesn't,
Agreed.
5-member boards, we can have as many, unlimited numbers of volunteers. to
correct,
help.
correct.
Just not everyone has to be on it.
So we'll be looking to talk about that at the next meeting for sure. Back to Wendy, the town clerk.
Yep, I just have a town meeting recap. It was super busy, it was good. We had a total of 495 people cast ballots in Highgate, 404 in person, and 91 voted absentee. It was due to the help of everyone that we were able to be efficient and get out of there timely. We had the fire department help us move stuff over there the night before, and we're right there at 7 o'clock to get us out of there. So I want to thank Gary, Ralph, and Cody for their help with that. Karen Gagne-Fortin was there in the lobby towards the end. There was a hockey game an hour later, so we were coexisting in a small space. Our JPs, Patty, Claude, Donna, Dennis, John, and of course Shelley. Some of them brought the ballots down to Swanton for the school, so that's a late night. All of our articles did pass. Quickly, we added a new select board member. Welcome, Chad. Let's see. The ATV article seems to be getting quite a bit of attention. That did pass 270 to 219 to advise the select board to open all of our roads. So we will be having our town meeting info session much earlier next year, within the 30 days preceding town meeting. The non-binding option to potentially buy the Pause for Thought building as a future home of the library passed 274 to 213. All of our budgets passed. The CIP was a squeaker, 248 to 235, so that passed by 13 votes. And I'm not sure why that is, if people don't understand it, they don't like it. I'm not sure, but last time we were on the ballot, the CIP was also close. Ambulance services, the most yeses went to MVR, so we will, it says non-binding advisory, but I'm assuming that you will go with them for another 3 years. Our school budget did pass by 108 votes, 782 to 674. 2 of our Highgate representatives were reelected as school board directors, Rennick, Darnell Martin, and Elaine Nestor. Jen Chevalier did resign, and they will be interviewing replacements for her spot. They got 2 letters of interest, so that position should be filled in the next couple of weeks. So, thank you, everybody.
Do you have a percentage of our voters?
Yep. The 495 number is right about 20% of our checklist. It is a much higher number than we typically see on a town meeting. I think we usually run between 300 and 400 voters. Last year we were over 600, but it was a presidential primary that drives voter turnout. This year I think we had a higher turnout because of the articles. Everybody was rolling their eyes at me when I was like, turn it over, it's double-sided, you're going to be in the booth for a while. But I didn't see a whole lot of blank on the back. People voted for everything, so that was good to see. But that's it, and everything passed, including the schools, so I don't see us back at the polls until next March.
And I just want to comment, I know there has been some discussion about it being inconvenient to be held at the arena, but ideally it is the best place for us to be, and it is a town building, so that will continue.
I mean, maybe someday we'll be voting at 5 Gore Road, who knows?
Never correct, but until that time, it is the best possible place at the moment. I would like to echo everyone that was involved. I appreciate all your help and your diligence for the town. We are up to Carrie, town administrator.
Thank you. So the first item I have on the agenda, so that a few months ago I'd provide a once-a-month village core wastewater update. And right now, what we, for those people that aren't in the service area, we sent out up to 75 letters to homes in the service area for the village wastewater project, asking them to come in and let us know if they were interested in hooking up. It's not time to hook up yet. I mean, construction is at least 1.5 years away, but so there's a little bit of talk. We have scheduled 3 open houses. We've already had 2. The next one is on the 18th of March from 4 to 6. We will have an engineer here from Otter Creek Engineering. So it's a good time if you have any technical questions for him. At this point, what we're asking is, are you interested in hooking up? Where is your current system, water and wastewater, on your property? Because some of the village is really tight, so we need to know where roughly your well is and where your wastewater system are. And we don't always have a map of that in town. People didn't collect that for a while. Across the state of Vermont, it wasn't Highgate. And also, like, when the engineer was here on town meeting day the week before, he asked questions like, do you have a basement? Do you have a slab? What is your basement? Is it stone? Is it concrete? They're just trying to get more definition in the maps they're creating. So when we apply for the larger wastewater permit and some other things, we have a better idea what's going on the ground. And also, I might have mentioned this at the last meeting, but once more of the snow goes away, a lot of it has already gone, Otter Creek and a firm they hired is actually going to start knocking on doors, because we really do need that well information and the wastewater information. And secondly, we hired a firm that I can't remember the name of to do some archaeological surveys as required by the state. That's also going to happen in the spring as soon as they can see the ground. So project is moving forward as quickly as we possibly can, and the planning commission, I think, is going to get a visit by Greta to talk about the ordinance. We need to start building an ordinance, a wastewater and water ordinance, which is just the local details of how this works. You know, who has to maintain what. We don't have costs yet. So if you're here, if you know of anyone in that area, please tell them we're looking for it. They can email me. I can set up an individual meeting. We do have a minimum number of hookups we have to do to get this system off the ground as required by our $5 million worth of grant funds. So it's pretty important that people reach out to us.
Do you know how many that is?
Excuse me?
Do you know how many that is?
I don't know, because we haven't defined whether it's one hookup or like the convenience store could be counted as 5 or 10. Does that count as 1 or does that count as 5? But we have a floor of, I think, 20 or 30 equivalent units, basically, equivalent residential units. So, but we didn't get clarification from them on the commercial stuff. Yeah. So anyway, that's moving forward. I don't have any actions that I need from that, but the open house next week again is March 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. The second item on here, which you should have in your packets, was an organizational chart. Yep, we have a draft one. Just trying to document the hierarchy in a town. I think it's the last page of your packets. It's important for new people. It's important for somebody who maybe just joined a committee, and sometimes it's good for people who've been on a committee for a long time. I don't know. In this case, Vern wanted to start the conversation. Check it, make sure I didn't forget any major committees. The top, what I couldn't figure out, because I've never done it and I ran out of time today, the top layer under, it starts with the voters. They're in charge, they elect the select board. But that second line are all elected officials. So like the trustees, the select board, the town clerk, the town treasurer, and cemetery commission.
Okay.
Yep.
Appreciate that. It definitely will help us going forward.
Well, and you probably will revise it a little bit, but I think it's a little more clear when you look at that maybe as a town grows, you might want more personnel business to flow through the town administrator, because that person's here 5 days a week. It gives employees access, it gives oversight, I think it's kind of important because most of your select board members have jobs, so it's not always easy to take time out from your workday.
Question?
Gary, I thought there was some, already did some archaeological studies on that site.
On the village core site, yes, but this is everywhere else in the village.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's Hardigan is the company name. They're a really respected firm. They told us we're in the schedule. But you're right, some of it has been
Yeah,
done,
the core has been done. Okay.
but not all the properties. And before we start digging. And also it's important to know, and I didn't know this because I didn't write the grant, but part of that village wastewater grant includes paying for hookups. So what that means is while we're putting the system in, we're gonna have equipment, we're gonna be making a mess of your front yard probably. The grant pays for that installation, whereas if you wait 10 years until maybe your system dies or that's when you're ready, that's not gonna be free anymore.
So,
It's most cost effective now.
go ahead. On that question, you made a statement about having so many hookups.
Yes?
Does that have to be both water and sewer or one or the other?
Right now, we were focusing on wastewater, and so I know it's specific to water and wastewater. I don't think water has a minimum requirement. I think once we get it here, that's the challenge, getting a public water source permitted, but it's wastewater.
Okay.
Yeah.
He answered my same question.
All right. It's a good question. And that's all I have. Your interim administrator.
Is there any other business to come before the board?
I have a question.
Okay.
What's your timeline to explore the pause for thought building for the library?
We're gonna be talking about that a little bit in our executive and then also getting information in the next few weeks to go over there. Cheryl has been very understanding and understands it's gonna be some time involved, so we have addressed that with her.
One more question.
Yeah.
When is the board going to discuss the opening the roads to ADPs?
We are hoping to have that discussion in April. We're gonna discuss it in between being a new board. We want time to all work together on that, and then we will be bringing that discussion out on all the advisory votes.
You gotta make up all the rules and regulations.
Correct, we have to put an ordinance together,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, so
So I've got one question on that, just to bring it to the board so you guys can talk about it. A few of the trails I know on the Buck Road in Highgate, the Bouchard Road. So if I'm correct, right now the farmers use that to access their fields, and if they want to load a gravel in it to fix a pothole, they do it themselves. Okay.
Number 4 rule.
Right.
Trails.
Right.
Yeah.
So and I've been down the Buck Road in the spring of the season with my side-by-side, and they make a hell of a mess out of it sometimes. If there's a wet hole, I don't know if you've been down through it.
Underneath power lines.
So are we gonna put the burden on the adjoining landowners that use it to get to their property to maintain it if it's getting destroyed by ATVs? Just a question for the
Makes
town.
sense.
Who's gonna be responsible to make that trail, field access road, whatever you wanna call it, passable?
I believe, Scott, right now, there's some legislation in Montpelier about legal trails and class 4 road.
I don't have a dog in that fight.
I don't either, but I think at the state level, it's being discussed.
But, them aren't class 4 roads, right? If they were class 4 roads, the town would take care of some of that, right?
Passable for, except for winter season,
Right.
But it has to be at least passable.
Right.
Does the town have any class 4 roads right now? Yeah.
We have a few, right?
Yeah.
Fox Plains and,
it's on that map in really small print.
yeah.
But on the ATV thing, before I forget, so I did mention this, on WCAX, because we had a number of people very eager to talk to us about it.
No kidding, we kept on.
We have to, we are gonna put it on the agenda. You'll see ATV comment, on our select board agenda. We're not sure which meeting. But ordinances have to be amended, and once they're approved at the select board level, they still take 60 days after that to become effective. So it's important to note, my little commercial is, all roads are not open to ATVs right now. Please wait. We will let you know when that happens and what happens and the details of that, but it's not effective right now.
Yes.
Back to the Boston Top building. I believe there's a well there,
There is.
and that should be our supply for water for the village court.
It doesn't work. The engineers have stated that doesn't, they won't work, but we are investigating that. I've contacted Aldridge and Elliott to compare two different options. The well on the property said it wouldn't work. They were under the impression for a while that the arena well might work as well. Too many wells. But the arena water supply should work, but that also has some challenges with public water supply regulations.
We're being paid as water here somewhere.
Yes, there's options, but it's not what originally was thought, because public water supply has very rigid regulations.
And especially with Cary, believe it or not, for our small town, we have to go through the same permitting process as Burlington. Correct?
If you serve over 10 units, and the Cathedral Square property is 30 by itself.
So the whole went from the hop to,
It's not impossible, and, there are some grant funds available, but it's not a slam dunk, and we can't use the same kind of processes we use for our houses.
Correct. Any other business?
I know Carrie loves being in Highgate, but where are we at on that?
We are meeting with Dawn, I believe, the 20th meeting,
Your next meeting.
and we'll have more information at that time. Yeah, we love her too, but we know we can't keep her.
Well, and you want somebody here 5 days a week, I'm only here 3.
Right.
And, the plan is, Dominic's been working on a community outreach pamphlet, so to speak, and an ad. And so I think you guys will decide that at that point, and then you're gonna start to see some ads placed for that position, but he's also gonna try, I know they email all the administrators in New England, so they cast a pretty big net, so maybe somebody wants to move back to Vermont. Maybe someone has family here and they want to relocate, so that's what the pamphlet's for. It'll be interesting, honestly, for those of you who live here and me, to see what he comes up with after talking to the town.
Yes, Steve?
I have a question, and it concerns back to the informational meeting we had a week ago. Could the select board explain their theories of having a 2-minute thing for each article, and then not allowing the candidates to speak at an informational meeting? What are your thoughts and rulings?
I unfortunately was not present. I did watch the tape, and I think there was a misconception of not allowing the candidates to speak because of the voting thing, but we weren't technically at the voting place.
No, you were not. You were at the arena.
So that was a confusion. Going forward, we will learn by that. That's the only answer I can give you at this point, because it's done.
Yeah. And honestly, if you're gonna do that, you have to explain to all candidates that
option
will be
It
available.
wasn't warned as part of the meeting.
Right.
No, we did not.
So that's the other thing, it will have to be on the warning that they're gonna be able to speak. And again, going forward, we will know that.
And the 2 minutes you asked about specifically, because when we were planning and we did talk to our town attorney, we were concerned that a handful of people might take up a ton of time, and we had 3 hours. So we split it up into 3 different chapters and timed people so that one person can get their point across, and then everyone else who wanted a chance to talk would have the time to do that. Because you can go back, the person can talk a second time. I mean, Sue did a number of times, and I didn't count half second to make sure she got no more than 2. But we're doing it just to make sure it was fair for everyone, because some people can be long-winded and some people repeat themselves 5 or 6 times with the same information, and they don't know they're doing it, but they do. And we just would have never, we didn't think we'd get through all of those things and allow full public participation if we didn't put a time limit on it. But we had to treat everybody the same. So that's what we did.
So, my question was, it wasn't warned, I know when I was on the school board, at an informational meeting, people got up and spoke that were running, and they weren't warned. So what's, I guess, what's the difference, you know?
Well, I know in the past, and these are not my decisions, I just work here.
But,
But in the past, when we have had select board races, the select board warned and had meetings with candidate forums. That to me would have been the place for that.
okay.
And that's what's done in other municipalities as well. You know, if you want to compare, and Channel 15, give them a plug, will also do that if there's a select board race. But when you don't have that traditional floor vote, it's done in different ways.
And again, this year was
First,
different because we only had 5 days. Next year, we're gonna be very well planned because we have 30 days.
Just, somebody reiterate, why the cost of the positive thought was not listed on that warning?
Was the
It
public
hadn't been
knowledge at the
discussed
time?
at that
She
time.
did state it at the meeting, but I don't think at the time of the writing, we knew the answer.
Correct.
But it would have been legal to put it on.
Yes.
Yes.
I just questioned today as to why.
And again, the goal was to let the select board look into.
Right.
So-
Yeah, it's not an official purchase yet.
Correct.
Now, again, let's go back to that well. Will that well be able to supply the positive thought of the next library?
it should, yes. That's right in the middle of the service area,
So
so.
that'll be part of the
Yeah.
service that you purchased.
Yep, the service area goes to St. Armand, to the rail trail, up Gore to the arena, and across the street, past the library and the service station, and down Lansing. So, and here, we did of course include our own building in that.
I think you're asking if you
Yeah.
could do the
No.
present well.
Can that well be used just to do the library and
Community building. The well is there.
The existing well at the building.
the existing well that's there now?
The
Will it be
existing-
able to be used
For the
for the library?
The existing well that the Pause for Thought
Yes.
uses. I didn't ask that, and we can ask that.
But I
But
think
That
the
would be
concerns of the
something-
public.
the problem,
I'm sure that's where it's coming.
yeah, some of the challenges they told us, and this is why the standard is ridiculous, and maybe we need to complain to our legislators, but you have to have a 200-foot radius around your well that is free from buildings, parking lots, equipment storage, fuel storage, and the town has to control all of it. So the town, like near the arena, the building's in the way, the parking lot's in the way, and there was a little section, a Half Moon section that a farmer owned, which we could get an easement on, but the building we can't move. So they said we could ask for an exemption, and they welcomed us to do so, but would not guarantee we would get it. So I don't want to spend, you don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars trying to get an exemption, and then have them tell you a certain percent down the road, sorry, yeah, well, I would feel real bad, but you're not going to get it. So that's why I think, I did actually talk to FCIDC, and I believe we have a good shot at getting a grant to study how we get this done, like an engineer, to look at it. Like, what's the best option, the most cost-effective, and one that can get done in time? Because it's beyond what most of us understand, because you start going down a rabbit hole and you're like, oh, nope, not that one. So we've been working at it. It's just a little frustrating because the rules are pretty heavy.
Thank you.
Keep sending ideas though. Obviously, anything on the table.
If there's no other discussion, I would ask for a motion to go into executive, end the regular meeting, go into executive.
make a motion.
I'll second.
Who's going into executive?
Ty and the select board, Carrie. And there's nothing that either of you need to come in for, correct?
I don't. Can I just go in for a minute?
And Mike wants to come in, yeah?
Okay.
Nick, yes?
And did you vote on that?
So next time, Mike. Carrie.
And did you vote on it?
Not yet.
Oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
I just want to vote.